Hello and welcome to Archi Corner. This is episode number 23, and today is a very special episode. Hi there, my name is Josue Diaz. I am your host and creator of Archi Corner. If you're subscribed to this channel, you already know what to expect. A lot of animated tutorials that teach you more about architecture. Which asks the question, why am I doing this face-to-face video today? Why am I breaking with the norm in doing this? Well, this has been something that I've been thinking a lot for a very long time as to whether I should do face-to-face videos. I've been going back and forth between yes and no, but there's something for sure. And that is that when this channel was created, sketching or some sort of whiteboard animation had to be part of the channel. The main reason for that is because I used to work for a company where I was the architect of record for my team. Perhaps many of you work in architecture firms where you know that there's teams that work in different type of projects. I was the architect of record for most of the projects my team worked on. Some of you may be working for architecture firms where there's different studios or teams that work on different projects. And in my team, I was not only the architect of record, but I also had to train other people when they came in. Now, when I did a lot of these tutorials, when I taught the different employees or people in my team, it was kind of funny because I would often tell them, don't come asking me questions without a notepad or without something where I can draw. Because in order for me to teach people, I always needed to draw something for them. And that's really a no-brainer because in architecture, the output, the end product of what we give our clients is really plans, right? In between, obviously, we share our knowledge, we try to educate our clients as much as possible, but in the end, the final product is a set of plans. It's a graphic output. That's the type of company that we as architects run. A graphical company in a certain way. And that's just how things are. I mean, architecture is really having drawings and details that explain a floor plan, a building, or anything like that. So when the time came and an employee or somebody in my team came and asked me, what to work on next, I would give them a project. Perhaps it had to be with an egress plan, right? And so then came the whole tutorial session about what an egress plan is. There's two ways to look at how to give people in your team work. One is just redlining things and giving it to them so that they can just pick it up. And that's what a drafter does. However, my opinion has always been that if you teach somebody what they're doing and why they're doing it, everybody's going to be happier. That person is going to grow as a person, as a professional, knowing what they have to do and why they're doing it instead of just picking up red lines. It's better for me because it lessens my load for future projects, having somebody that can take a project, for example, in this case, an egress plan, up to an 80-90% completion because they already know the basics, the fundamentals. And then what I do as the architect of record, of course, as I'm reviewing this throughout the process, in this specific instance of an egress plan, I would review it, get all the final details together, and move on to the next part of the project. Well, the issue came that there's multiple team members. So oftentimes I found myself teaching the same exact thing to a different person at a different time. After a while, I kind of already knew what type of sketches I was drawing when I was going to teach somebody a specific subject. And I thought, well, why can't there be a video or a set of videos that could teach people how to do this? It would save me time as an architect because I can just tell my employee, or in this case, the team member, hey, why don't you watch this video, get the fundamentals, come back, talk to me, and then we'll go over this project. But there just wasn't that information, there wasn't good, quality, simple to follow videos. And perhaps, maybe it's just me, but oftentimes I've thought of architecture firms as being their own individual secret societies. Because you might be friends with somebody in another architectural firm, but very rarely would you ever share details or things of that nature with them, right? It's almost as though you don't want to help the competition. And I understand why that might be the case. I can understand that concept. But, if you want to grow as an individual, then you become limited on how you can grow. Unless you spend money either taking tutorials, taking classes, seminars, there's really a very limited source of information out there for people in the architectural industry to grow or to get to know things, unless you're actually working on it, right? If you're working on it in your team, then great, you get to learn more about it. But if you're working on this type of architecture and you want to know how to do that type of architecture, how do you go about doing that? That's where I think ArchiCorner kind of kicks in. ArchiCorner tries to provide the general knowledge to people that may not already be architects. They're probably on their way, or to provide general knowledge to those who may not be architects, but they're doing their best to get there, to become a better designer, a better architect, or perhaps even in a different field, but somewhere in there's architecture related to that scope of work that they're interested in. Add to that, sometimes when you start a new job, you don't want to come to your boss as if you don't know what they're talking about, right? So if you're a new employee, perhaps you've never worked in an architectural office before, you're right out of school, and they ask you to work on a set of plans. You don't want to be the dumb one that asks, well, what's an egress plan? Or, the concept and theory from school, but how do you put one on paper? Sometimes shyness kicks in. You don't want to sound dumb, so you don't want to go to your boss or supervisor and ask him, hey, what's an egress plan? Though sometimes I wish people were just more open about it and asked right up front. There's really nothing to be ashamed of. You went to school and now you're starting. It's expected for you to have questions. So just that's one hint aside of all this. Don't be afraid to ask questions. But if you're able to watch a video, get some general information as to what that is, and it's a quality information, then when you go back to your architect, your supervisor, he or her, now you have specific questions that you can ask, and you can have a more thorough conversation and sound smart about it, right? So it's a win-win for everybody. And that's what ArchiCorner is hoping to do. It's not hoping to solve a specific project. It's just a way to provide you with general concepts, with general ideas and knowledge of what certain things are and how to go about them. You, as the architect, or you working with your architect, will have to ultimately figure out how each one of those concepts relates to your specific project. But at least this way, you have somewhere to start and get a general understanding, your first step to move forward. However, one thing that has been not an issue, but somewhat of a drawback in ArchiCorner is the time that it takes to put another video out there. Some of you have asked what type of software is used to create these videos. And there's quite a bit of software that is needed, and it all kind of merges together. There's VideoScribe that creates animation, but in order for it to animate, it needs SVG files, which you can do with Adobe Illustrator to create all the custom images. You also need a voice recording software. Adobe has their own. There's many other products that have, or brands that have their voice recording. I personally use Audacity. It's free. It's what I'm used to using, and I'm used to it, so that's what I use. Then you use Photoshop to create thumbnails or just things like that. And finally, you get all that stuff together in Adobe Premiere Pro, and then you upload all that to YouTube. So the drawback I was talking about earlier is just the time that it takes to use all those programs, from researching the code to creating a script to recording and editing all the audio, creating all those images that are going to be needed for the video, animating those images, synchronizing the images with the audio, video editing. Every video takes at least at least 20 hours. And this is not my prime focus at this point. I have a job. About 3 years ago, I started my own architectural firm, so that takes quite a bit of time from my schedule. That's what gives me money to live, right? Arky Corner being up front, it is monetized. I do get money from it, but with all the money that I spend on the software that I use, it's probably very negligible at this point. Nevertheless, hopefully in the future it can grow. That's always the hope, right? That you can grow, but that's going to be something that takes time. It's not something that I expect to grow right now, but hopefully in time it'll get there. And that gets me to why these phase videos are being created, why I'm doing this phase video today. One thing that I've noticed is that after I create a video, for every video I create, there's like 10 different subjects that people often comment. Well, maybe you can talk about this next time, or talk about that. And there's also questions that come up. Now, currently, believe it or not, I do write down all the wish list, that all the comments that you guys view. I do put a list of things that I want to do. And if I were to create a video a month, I would have enough video content for a year. But again, that takes time, and if you have to wait a month for a video to come up, and perhaps it's not even the subject you're interested, it's something that somebody else said, it just takes time. And what I wanted to do is create this video so that I can perhaps, one, if I create a video and there's questions, I can provide general answers to those questions and not have to wait forever, right? That way I can probably answer 3 or 5 or however many questions come up, and it would be much faster than how it is right now. So that's one thing. So let me know. I know that was a big roundabout as to why I did this phase video. Perhaps this is something you expected would eventually happen. It was something that I always thought of doing, but I didn't know if it was the right thing to do or not. Perhaps you can leave a comment down in the video. It really encourages me when I see comments that provide encouragement. It really does. And sometimes you just say thank you, it was great. Something small like that really encourages me and helps me not stop doing the videos. So let me know what you think. Do you think this is a good idea? Perhaps, maybe not, I don't know. If there are other things that you suggest that you think that this channel could improve on, I'm open to ideas. Let me know what you think, and hopefully we can keep helping each other out. It is my hope that this channel will be your go-to channel whenever you have architecture questions, that you want to just know a subject. And hopefully through the years, we will create a library of different subjects that you can just go and find out more information about that. If you look at the playlist, I've been trying to separate the videos. If you notice, now that I'm on that subject, if you've noticed, every video has a number. And I've done that on purpose because sometimes it's hard to say, well, if you search for this video, it's titled How to Egress from a High-Rise Building, right? If you just say, hey, look at Arky Corner video number 25, there's no missing it. There's only one video that's 25, and you don't have to give that long title. And my playlist kind of have those videos, separated by ADA, by IBC, things like that. So I hope that's something that's helping out. I'm gonna wrap this up now, but I wanted to let you know that there is a video coming up, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. I don't know if Christina Garvey is watching or not, but she requested some video on structures maybe like a couple months ago, and I've been working on it, believe it or not. But as I'm working on it, there's, structural systems tend to be very complex. So I'm thinking that might be more than a video. It might be broken up into maybe 2 or 3 videos. But Christina, if you're watching, I haven't forgotten about you. I'll get to your video soon. But for now, I'll wrap it up there. Thank you again for watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, share this video with your friends. Here are a couple of other videos that I think you might like. But for now, this is Arky Corner, signing out.